Hello, Durud and Shalom. Hi, everyone. Make sure you like the stream. Guys, how many of you have heard about the Epstein files now escalating to the point that it's getting connected to anti Semitic conspiracy theories and Israel? Have you guys seen the connection? I want to know also, especially regarding people from Israel, our Israeli fans, is there because on American social media, this is the hottest topic right now. And Israel is now being dragged into this drama, and this is going to have major geopolitical consequences going forward with regards to potential war with the Islamic Republic. And I'll show you the connections. I just want to know if in Israel people are talking about this. Hey, Sarah is here. I see Heavy Gretel is here. Hey, I see Sam is here. Let me see. Jack is here. Fantastic. All right, great. Mohsen is here. Okay, so Jack was saying, I haven't heard much about this case, so it's going to be interesting to hear. Like the stream already. Yes, please like the stream. Let me see. I've heard, but don't know a lot about it. Are people in Israel following this? Because this is getting really connected to Israel right now. So I'm saying not many people in Israel are talking about Epstein. Okay, well let's introduce the topic, guys. Remember, here's a rule with all conspiracy theories. Okay, all conspiracy theories, well, not all, the vast majority of conspiracy theories, even if have if even if they started having nothing to do with the Jews, eventually, if you give it enough time, it will first start by becoming somewhat relevant to Jews. And then if you give it even more time, it would be all about the Jews. And then everybody's going to pretend that it was all about the Jews from the beginning. So this is what's happening here as well, right? So apparently Epstein is a Mossad agent. Apparently Jeffrey Epstein is your guy. Israelis, did you guys know? Jeffrey Epstein apparently is the way that you guys have been controlling the United States to do your bidding and fight your wars. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that Jeffrey Epstein is the way that you're basically getting America to do the things that you want? Yeah, Mars is like, huh? Exactly. All right, let me actually explain. Sarah saying everybody knows Epstein is the king of the Jews. Every girl is saying, "Here we go again." Yes, amazing. Yes. Well, by the way, guys, let me actually tell you some. So the MAGA crowd, a big, not all, a huge portion of them are basically far right people that just love conspiracy theories. Like a lot of uh, if you actually follow them on social media, some of them, hey, Susie is here. Hi, Susie. And some of their, during the campaign for Trump, a huge portion of their content it was supporting Trump, and another part of a huge part of their content was basically conspiracy theories, right? And a lot of conspiracy theories in the U.S. End up blaming the Jews for the worst things that happen in the United States. Okay, and the two most famous ones are the assassination of JFK and 9/11, right? So there's this conspiracy theory that 9/11, when it happened, the Jews in the towers left the building right before it happened because they were informed that this is the planes are going to hit the towers, which is basically, and again, they all have the same reasoning behind them. Like, why are Jews doing this? Two reasons. Why? One is that the Jews are trying to get the superpower. YouTube. I am not. I do not believe in these conspiracy theories. Please, I'm just informing people what these people believe in. Okay. So Jews are apparently weak. They cannot do anything themselves. They go find other powerful people to do things for them by manipulating them, by finding leverage, by finding the darkest secrets and using that against their leverage, against them as leverage. or they have their methods, okay, because they can't do anything themselves. So, for example, 9/11 was the Jews' plan to get United States to come to the Middle East to fight Israel's war. So to spend American blood fighting Israel's war in the Middle East. That was the point of 9/11. That's why the Jews did that, right? So again, the theme is always two things. They use other people to come do their bidding, do the things that they need to do. Also, they believe that Jews are just jealous of powers. They basically are against other people, anybody other than themselves being strong. They see themselves as the chosen people, and they should be the only people. Everybody else is inferior. Everybody else should be inferior to Jews. And basically, when there are superpowers and empires basically in the world, what the Jews always conspire is to destroy powers around the world that is not them, right? So this conspiracy again, YouTube. I'm not saying that this is any of this is wrong. I'm just telling what these anti-Semites believe. They believe that every single empire in history that collapsed, somehow the Jews were behind it somehow. Okay, the Romans, whatever, like anything, right? So right now, the United States is the main power in the world, and they are trying to come inside and basically corrupt it from within and make it collapse. And again, we have left-wing anti-Semitic narratives and right-leaning anti-Semitic narratives. The left-leaning anti-Semitic narratives try to tie the Jews to capitalism, to bankers, um, and I mean, some right-leaning people also do the banker one, right? But the right-leaning ones usually try to tie Jews to feminist movements, to trans movements, to anything that is basically is weakening the foundation of society, which is the family itself. So they think that the Jews are wise enough to know that they are pro family for themselves in Israel. So they want strong families for themselves, but for everywhere else, they're spreading um, corn, again, PORN. They're spreading feminism. They're spreading LGBT, and all of these is basically weakening the foundation of the family unit, which all societies are built upon, as a way to bring down these empires. They bring down these other powers. Okay, so these are right-leaning conspiracy theories against the Jews, and then left-leaning ones as well, right? So, uh, so when it comes to 9/11, right, it works both ways, right? They are goes with the both narratives regarding they're trying to use United States to fight their wars, but also it bankrupted the United States. The Iraq War and Afghanistan War was the beginning of the collapse of the American empire, and it happened because of the Jews. And now the Americans are paying the price for it. And then we have JFK. Is they claim by the way, they're just so they always claim that JFK was assassinated by the CIA at the request of the Israelis, because JFK was the only president of the United States that stood up to Israel and didn't want the United States to be a slave of Israel, and that's why they had to take him out. And by the way, just recently we had information came out that the CIA had some connections to the assassin of JFK. So these conspiracy theories are now just going picking that data point and basically acting like this proves all their points, right? So now with Epstein, is basically is getting very similar to 9/11 and JFK, um, especially because with all three of these information, they were waiting for Trump. The MAGA crowd was waiting for Trump to get elected so that they opened the files on all of these things, especially JFK and Epstein. And by the way, the way it works is it's like a pyramid. Only a few people. So this conspiracy theory, at the very top, there are a few people that actually keep blaming the Jews directly, right? But then if you come a little bit lower, there are some people who they have these conspiracy theories, but they don't mention Jews. They keep mentioning Israel. So there's a higher number of them. Don't mention the Jews. Just keep blaming Israel. And then if you come a little bit closer to the base of the pyramid, there are people who have these conspiracy theories, and they just use dog whistles, like they say globalists, bankers, I don't know, whatever. um they use different words to refer to the Jews, but without even mentioning Israel. And then the bottom of the base is the highest number one of them, um which are these are people who are not anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish or maybe not even anti-Israeli. They're spreading these conspiracy theories, but they don't know that the people who are spreading them at the top are basically the blaming the Jews for all of this, right? So anyway, so let's go back to Epstein. Are any of you familiar? Like, you guys are familiar with the thing? Is this like a revelation to you guys, or do you guys are already familiar with the conspiracy theories I'm talking to you about? Let's go to what's happening now. All right. So for years, not a lot. Okay. Oh wait, Susie is saying something. I don't have anybody to pay attention to the chat. So let me see. Susie is saying, to be honest, my opinion is that regardless of what is true, Trump's about to on this uh, face on this is this is what Trump's about to face on. This is such an egregious display of hypocrisy. Oh yeah, okay, there was a dot missing there. That even the MAGA base can't deny it anymore. Yes, yes, exactly. Because yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Trump. This is so. I mean, it's so. Trump's own statements contradict what he's saying now, and the MAGA is not having it. So he's paid. He finally we got to a point where Trump is contradicting to himself to a point where even MAGA, because he is basically crossing a red line. Trump thought that everything, whatever he does, his base would not turn on him. Now he's realizing that his base has certain principles that are more important to the base than Trump himself. Trump used to say that if I go into the streets and shoot somebody, these people will continue following me. But apparently, yes, maybe if you shoot somebody, they will still be a fan of you. But there are certain things that are so important to the MAGA base, some of the MAGA base. Epstein, like their conspiracy theories. This is one of them. This is one of them that they're not going to back down against this, right? So let me actually give you what. Let's talk about this to see how did we get here, right? So, for years, Trump and many of his MAGA supporters pushed a narrative that there was a hidden Epstein client list. And again, Trump was involved in this. This is why Susanna was talking about a hypocrisy, referring to this as hypocrisy, because it wasn't just MAGA. Trump himself was constantly referring to this existing, right? So, which is contains the name of powerful elites. I mean, not consistently, but a couple of times, right? So this is so you guys, maybe some people in Israel have no idea what I'm talking about. So let me give me the TLDR. Jeffrey Epstein was a powerful, rich person that had this island with underage girls. Were available to very powerful rich people to go have sexual relationship with, right? And apparently people did that because they assumed that this guy is going to keep it a secret, and Jeffrey Epstein eventually got arrested for that. So the idea is, and I don't know if this is true or not because I haven't seen any of it. The idea is that Jeffrey Epstein, beyond, so this part is proven, the fact that he was doing this, the fact that underage girls were being used as sex workers for his clients, for very rich powerful people, that has been proven. That's why he was arrested, that's why he was in prison. But here the additional parts that I don't know if it's true or not, right? Apparently they say that he was recording these people when they were doing these things so that he could use them as leverage against them when it's needed. And then so that's the part that I don't know if it's true or not. And then in prison, he committed suicide. I put some distance in between it. Maybe that will help me with the algorithm, right? And a lot of people believe that that was not a self-deletion. People think that somebody took him out because obviously the most powerful people in the world, if he had information on them. Oh wait, sketch therapy is here as well. Let me actually star him so I could respond to that. By the way, I do respond to super chats. If you guys want to ask me or have any opinions with super chats, I'll try to pay attention. What was I saying? So a lot of people think that obviously these powerful people, they needed to silence him so they killed him in prison, right? It doesn't help the fact, it doesn't help that when he did the self-deletion, the so-called self-deletion, at that time exactly the camera stopped working, and also the prison guards at that very exact time, that the time that they were supposed to be watching him, they fell asleep or something, right? So people are saying these are too many coincidences. Obviously they took him out. Honestly, I don't know, and you might consider me naive, but I don't know. I'm gonna basically say I don't know what happened there, right? I acknowledge that these are too many coincidences, but I don't know what happened. And apparently, the statistics show that 20% of Americans think that he did self deletion. 40% of Americans think that no, somebody took him out in prison, and 40% of Americans say, I don't know. Okay, so I'm also in the I don't know camp regarding that. Right? Okay, so now it seemed like some Israelis didn't know anything about any of these in the chat, so I'm glad that that was useful. That I told you that. So he had a list. He had a list of his clients. Apparently, they say that he had a list, and the list was something that the Trump administration said that they had. Well, let's actually get to that. Okay, so they claim that once Trump was back in power, so during the campaign, many of the Trump supporters were very hopeful that when Trump comes to power, he would expose the truth and release the files, release the Epstein list. But now, basically, Trump is, well, actually, let's get to that. So the DOJ, the Department of Justice, and FBI, they released an official memo, and this is what they say. They said there is no Epstein list. There is no such thing as an Epstein list. There is no extortion blackmail material, and there's no evidence that Epstein was murdered. And they are actually confirming that he did a self deletion. This is, I don't know, like for people who don't follow American politics, for a huge portion of the MAGA base, this is a huge slap in the face. Like they would never expect to hear any of this from the Trump administration. So basically, the FBI and the DOJ, they came out and this is the Trump administration. They stated that everything has already been reviewed and there is nothing to reveal. And they were asking, this is weird because actually, let me tell you something else. Yeah, so let me actually, where's that lady? There was a lady that came out a couple. I'll get to that. I don't have that lady. So MAGA supporters feel betrayed. Let me actually tell you this. Trump came out when the reporters were asking Trump's cabinet regarding what the hell are you guys talking about? You said you have the list. It's on our desk. And we're going to release it. And now you're saying there's no such a list. So the journalists were asking the Trump's cabinet about this, and Trump interrupted the journalists, and he answered it himself because the journalist was asking someone else in the cabinet to respond to this. And Trump is saying, like, why are people talking about this? Jeffrey Epstein is not important. Let it go. Nobody cares about this. Stop talking about this, right? And that obviously backfired. Now everybody's talking about this. This is the major news right now, the hottest topic on American social media. I mean, if you say don't talk about it, obviously people are going to talk more about it, right? So, and again, I'll connect this to Israel soon. Um, so why do the MAGA supporters feel betrayed? Many Trump supporters, especially the hardcore MAGA base, feel like they were lied to. They believe Trump was going to release the Epstein files. Now the same people who promised those files say there's nothing there. Basically, the Trump administration that promised that they're going to release the files, now they're saying there is no files. So Trump posted after. So first it came on camera and Trump said like, "Let it go, nobody cares." But then Trump made a very bizarre long post on Truth Social, and he blamed the Democrats. He blamed Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Biden, and telling the MAGA, his base, to move on from the Epstein topic. Just let it go. And again, that backfired. People are talking about it more. And a lot of right now, if you go see when Trump is there's any videos of Trump on Trump's social media, on his own Truth Social, every time there's a video of him talking about any topic, if you go look at the comment section, his base is attacking him regarding Epstein. Like it might not have nothing to do with the topic of the video, but a huge portion of the comments are, what the hell are you talking about? Where you're saying like, why are you saying there is no list? Why are you pretending that there's no list? You promised us this and that and that. Okay. Again, I'm not saying that these people have a point. I'm just saying they're angry. They're very angry. I mean, I'm not on their side. I think they're delusional. I think Trump actually realized that there's not much there. I don't know. Actually, I have to guess. Oh, we got a super chat. Let me see. Does this? Okay, this is not relevant to what we're talking about that much. Okay, actually, it is relevant. So let me actually respond to it. Okay, so Crypto Fanatic is saying the U.S. has no stake in the Middle East Jewish-Muslim conflict. What are you talking about? That's such a stupid. That's such a dumb take. Israel's power depends on America's backing. Oh, so this is one of those guys that we're talking about. Israel's power depends on America's backing, secured by Jewish bribes like Adelson's on Epstein's blackmail. Oh, okay. So this guy that gave us a super chat is one of those people that actually believes these conspiracy theories, right? So, I mean, anybody who says U.S. has no stake in the Middle East doesn't understand anything about world politics, world trade, the liberal order I mean, the economic corridors that goes through the Middle East, the trade routes that goes through the Middle East, the energy dependence of the world and US's allies on the Middle East, Israel in the Middle East basically fighting America's, I mean, a lot of America's enemies are in the Middle East, and Israel is fighting America's enemies in the Middle East, America's enemies that will meet you in America if Israel was not standing in the way. So it's bizarre. Like, yeah, obviously anybody who says that the US has no stake in the Middle East doesn't have any clue what they're talking about. But thank you for the super chat. I will read the super chats. So thank you. But that is so different from the truth. I don't know what you're on about. Every time Israel enters a war, that's a war against enemies of United States that American soldiers do not have to fight because Israel is fighting that for them. So supporting Israel in the Middle East has had a huge return on investment for America. Every dollar that you spend on Israel, that's $10 of saving because Israel is doing such an effective job in the Middle East without having to get the United States involved. Okay. Where were we? But yeah, guys, the super chat actually confirms how so many people think like this. They like the Epstein. So the whole connection of Epstein to Israel is just came out of nowhere. Like we didn't hear it. Like a lot of, again, I don't want to generalize all MAGA, but the part of MAGA that is anti-Israeli isolationist, they were also, a lot of these are conspiracy theorists, and they just were the Jeffrey Epstein didn't represent Israel for a while. It represented the liberals and degeneracy of the elites in society. It represents uh, anti ungodliness. It represented moving away from traditional Christian values. It represents the elite of society playing by different rules and doing degenerate, disgusting things, and not being answerable uh, to the to the rules that the everyday people are responsible to. It just represented elites versus the average people. That's what it represented, right? So it was more anti-democrats, anti stuff like that, right? And then all of a sudden, so when Trump uh you know bombed Fordo, okay, in Iran, and also Natanz and the atomic site in Isfahan, the MAGA, some parts of MAGA got a taste of being pissed with Trump. And then with the Epstein, but I mean, that was tolerable to some of them, but they were, it started causing some tension, right? But then this Epstein situation is so, hey, thank you, just became a member. I appreciate that. But with the Epstein situation, this is so far away from something that they could tolerate. And now, because the isolationist anti-Israeli part of MAGA is really jumping on because of the Candace Owens, because of Tucker Carlson's, because of the Steve Bannons of the right. There, more of them are getting more familiar and jumping on the anti-Israeli bandwagon. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Epstein became a Zionist agent. It became a Mossad spy, like a spy, with no evidence. I mean, I've watched their videos. Honestly, I do watch these people's videos. Okay, the main reason why they have that Epstein is basically Israel is because they say this is exactly how Israel operates. Israel goes and gathers dirt, and basically it's just they're saying this is Israel's playbook. So obviously it makes sense to think Epstein is from Israel, because this is what Israel does. And and they said nothing else could explain why so many American politicians from both left and right are just doing whatever Israel wants. Like, what else could explain that? It must be Israel that has these types of information. Hold on, let me actually. Uh, so for example, let me actually give you an example. So the Democrats, leftist, I mean, not just left, not just hard progressive leftists, but even many Democrats had this conspiracy theory against Trump, that the reason why Trump is so close to Putin is because Putin has a video of Trump, um, with a video of a girl pissing on Trump, right? And Trump loving it. Okay, so apparently Trump has they say he has a golden shower fetish, and I don't know. He did that with a girl in a Russian hotel, and Putin has that video, and that's why Putin has so much control over Trump. Okay, and what was the evidence? They had no evidence. Um, oh, you guys didn't know that? Sam saying, yeah, the PP tapes, exactly. Heavy Gretel, yeah, exactly. So it was a meme that people went with it, and so many people actually believed it, even though there is no evidence. There's no evidence about this. But this was on the left side in the United States. This was just considered obvious common knowledge that everybody agreed, like many people agreed, right? So now the right leaning people are now have a similar conspiracy theory, and now they're saying, especially because Elon Musk basically threw that grenade in the middle of this. So Elon Musk, when he was leaving the White House because he had a really bad breakup with Trump, on his way out, he just threw a grenade in the White House, and that grenade was his post saying that the reason why Trump is not releasing the Epstein list is because Trump is on the list. And that happened. And at that time, people that was a big news. But again, the MAGA side wasn't taking it that seriously until now, when they're saying that the list is not going to be released. So now a lot of MAGA is going back to Elon Musk's tweet, saying that, okay, maybe he has a point, maybe that's the reason. So a lot of MAGA, because this was supposed to be um, Trump with the people against the elites, the 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 degenerate, disgusting, powerful elites. Now a lot of MAGA is thinking that, okay, Trump is like the rest of them. This is just the people versus the politicians. They, again, not all, again, please. And some parts of MAGA is now thinking that we have been occupied. Like United States is an occupied country by Israel. Our politicians are basically not our politicians. They think that again, this is the far left and the far right kind of agree with this. They believe that basically United States has been taken over by Israel, and the people need to free the country. They basically need to topple this regime, okay? Because this is not their government. This is Israel's government, and every single politician in the United States is just not loyal to United States. They're loyal to Israel, and they're basically making decisions based on what's best for Israel, not what's best for American people. They basically say, what else other than something an Epstein list could explain why Americans who don't have free healthcare and free education are fighting wars for Israel, who has these things, right? Like Israel has many things for its citizens that American citizens don't, and we're paying for the wars. They're saying like there's no way that this could be explained other than the fact that Israel has some leverage over America. There's two explanations. Basically, money, like they're paying money, or some people are too rich. So basically, the idea is that there's two techniques that Israel uses. The people that you could buy with money, you buy with money, and they keep mentioning APAC, right? But you could only buy politicians with money, only politicians that are, I don't know, millionaires or rich, close to being millionaires. But you cannot buy billionaires with money. Like, how much more money could you need, right? So for them, or for people who are very rich, then there's the Epstein list, or something similar to that. Um, that's what that's the conspiracy. So now all of a sudden, Israel, like Epstein, that had nothing to do with Israel, all of a sudden it became all about Israel. So actually, let me go through some of the. Let me actually see what was Elad. Oh, sorry, yeah, I already read this. Elad became a member. Guys, becoming a member and also super chats is a very effective way of powerful way of supporting this channel. So I appreciate that. Sketch Therapy, who's a member, let me say, Sketch Therapy saying MAGA isn't loyal to Trump. They're loyal to America. That is being demonstrably proven many times. Okay, this is actually showing that this is actually an indication that MAGA is basically turning against Trump, because Sketch Therapy himself, whenever I used to criticize Trump, he would get angry with me. Okay, but now Sketch Therapy is saying, well, MAGA is loyal to America, not to Trump. This to me also suggests that uh, a lot of MAGA who absolutely adored Trump is now using lines to show that they're not, America is actually more important than Trump, obviously, right? Which is basically the types of things you hear more if you're about to break up with the guy, right? Right. So, yeah. So this is actually showing, like, I'm not saying you're wrong or right. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying this is what you hear when MAGA is ready to break up with Trump. And who would have thought it would be over Epstein? I mean, it makes sense though, because anybody who follows MAGA content would have known. I mean, it seems like Trump is not familiar with MAGA as much, because he should have known that this is a major red line. I mean, to be fair to MAGA, they are being, this is gaslighting. Like they are right. Like, I mean, the conspiracy theories regarding Epstein is wrong, but Trump telling them that, hey, there is no list. This is like, I mean, MAGA is being treated like they're stupid, like they're being treated like they have a memory of the fish. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we were okay. Let me actually. Oh, here's something that adds more fuel to the fire. Trump has there has been a lot of pictures and quotes for Trump that shows Trump's Epstein ties, and many of the MAGA base wouldn't talk about that much. Okay, but now with these two events, with Elon Musk's grenade, and also Trump administration coming out and saying don't talk about the Epstein files. I mean, saying there is no Epstein list, and then Trump saying, coming out twice, saying forget about it, don't talk about it. Now the MAGA base is going back to the Trump's Epstein ties that only Democrats, mostly Democrats, used to talk about, and but now MAGA is talking about. I mean, we always had this information. MAGA just didn't talk about it much, but now they're talking about it, right? So here are the list of Trump's Epstein ties. Trump used to be friends with Jeffrey Epstein's. There are photos of them together. And I don't say that these prove anything. I'm just saying that these are things that Democrats used to point to and MAGA used to ignore, and now MAGA is pointing to it. I'm not saying that this is evidence of anything. Okay. So in 2002, Trump called Epstein a terrific guy and also mentioned that Epstein loves very young women. So at the same time that he was admiring Epstein, he was also talking about how Epstein liked that his words, very young women. Okay, so Trump wished Maxwell, Epstein's partner in crime, well after her arrest. I don't know why. Trump's biographer said that Trump's once considered pardoning her, Epstein's partner in crime, to keep her from talking. I don't know how true that is. And also, well, the Elon Musk post that said Trump's on the list. That was the biggest bomb connection, right? So let's go back to Israel. Let's tie this to Israel. This is where things get really messy and dangerous, right? But it works for our favor. This is one of those rare times where anti-Israeli conspiracy theories is benefiting Israel, which is weird. Do you guys know? Okay, the Democrats have been suppressing the story for decades. No, okay, no, you don't understand me. Like, let me actually explain this. Sketch therapy is saying, what are you talking about? Democrats have been suppressing the story for a decade. What did Biden do about? Okay, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the people who consider themselves Democrat. Let me actually explain. I'm not saying that the Democrats did anything about this. Obviously, they did it about the Epstein files. I'm talking about. I think you would agree with this. I'm talking about the people who support the Democrats, right? Who voted Democrat. When you pointed out the Epstein files, when right-leaning people, when Trump supporters pointed out to them the Epstein files, and how Bill Clinton, for example, was a buddies and close with like Jeffrey Epstein's and other powerful people, the Democrats would make fun of them Trump supporters by pointing out to all the connections that Trump had with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not saying the Democrat politicians did anything about this. I'm just saying that the comedians, the average people, the social media people who post about this, they were like, "Oh, really? Here's some pictures of your guy with him." That's all I'm talking about. Which is true. That was basically they were basically just doing a whataboutism. I'm not taking their side. I'm just telling you what was happening, right? So the MAGA is changing. MAGA people, they're changing their stance on, oh, Trump is going to come and take a stance against these elites by exposing all of them. Now MAGA is saying, like, okay, you're all freaking corrupted. It's basically the politicians versus the people, right? Um, hold on. This is why. What's that guy's name? Yeah. Mamdani is now being celebrated by people like Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is weird because Mamdani is he's a socialist and he's also Muslim. He's anti-Israeli, but they're basically looking past the fact that he is Muslim or socialist. But I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson are really right-leaning people. They just look at somebody who's anti-Israeli and they think like, oh, this is anti-Israeli right now in their mind seems to mean for the American people. So the idea is that if you are anti-Israeli as a politician, they don't see it as anti-Israeli. The way that they see it in their mind is somebody courageous enough to actually want to make America for American people. Yeah, exactly. Susanna is saying, well, it's the populist horseshoe. It's the horseshoe theory in effect. It's America first. Yeah. So basically, America first is these, because America first didn't used to mean anti-Israel. These days, America first is now being translated to not being loyal to Israel, because America first is now being turned into, it seems like this country is the government of this country is Israel first. So the same America first slogan is now being used as a way to mobilize a movement against Israel to liberate America against this hold that Israel has over American politics. So America first wasn't meant to mean this, but now people are saying this is not America first, this is Israel first, and we need to actually change it to America first. Oh, so Susanna is saying, I disagree that the anti-Israeli element is the genesis. The populism is the genesis. The anti-Israeli attitude is a byproduct. I think it's a catalyst. I think that's what it is. I think the anti-Israeli is not a. It's basically the rallying cry. It's the flag. It has always been the flag for far left and far. It's basically how you find each other. Mm. Yeah. Okay. So sketch therapy, like regarding these two files, I'm not I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with you. I'm just talking about the trends that are happening online. Like I don't know, like, oh, there's this file's missing, those files were released, two files were missing. I'm just talking about the conversation. I'm not even taking a side here, sketch therapy. I'm just telling you about the conversations and everything that is like, you must admit that right now a huge portion of MAGA is breaking up with Trump. This is what I'm observing, and a lot of it is based on uh, the idea that Israel seems to be controlling American politics, and this whole Epstein fiasco is also basically in line with that theory. That's what the theories are. That's what they're saying. This is what's happening. Like I don't know why you're getting angry with me. I'm not even taking a side here. I'm just telling you what's happening. But again, this is going to turn. Let me like tell you why this is might actually help us. Oh, okay, okay. So sketch therapy is saying, I'm not arguing. I'm trying to expand. I'm not angry. I'm trying to add. Okay, okay, fine. The missing files conversation. Okay, I mean, I'm not. I think the Epstein situation is and like what files were missing, what happened, who's actually on the list. That's one conversation, and we could have that conversation. Uh, I don't. The conversation I'm having right now is the effects of all of this on the breakup between MAGA and Trump, and what effect this is going to have on geopolitics and on Israel going forward. Okay, okay. Scarcity is saying no, I'm not angry. Okay, okay. So, by the way, guys, one thing I'm noticing is that the far left is becoming more popular among in America, and the far right is getting more. So, both sides is getting more extreme. Like we need the liberal right leaning people, and I mean, we're not going to be able to. It seems like the extremes on both sides are growing, and they're actually finding common ground. This is what I'm noticing, which is going to make the American politics really chaotic if this trend continues. I mean, when you have people on the right supporting some really powerful names on right, supporting socialists, again, Mamdani, I actually care more about the fact that he's a socialist than him being a Muslim. I think that is the more dangerous. Oh yeah, Susanna saying this is called the Red Brown Alliance. Yeah, and also it's now becoming the Red Brown Green Alliance because a lot of the people on the far right and the far left are now finding allies within the Muslim world on their anti-Israeli position. So the Red Brown Alliance is now turning into the Red Brown Green Alliance. Yeah, nothing is a more of a unifying factor in this world than Jew hatred of Jews, unfortunately. So, okay, let me see what the conspiracy. This is we're thinking. Okay, some MAGA influencers are now saying that the files are being hidden not by Democrats but by Israeli intelligence, Mossad. So even if Democrats are doing like they used to say, the Democrats are hiding the file. Now most of the conversation online is about the Israeli Mossad is basically hiding the files. And even if Democrats were doing it, they were doing it on um on behest of basically Israel. And now that the Republicans are in power, they're going to basically be doing the same. They basically say Israel used Epstein to blackmail American politicians, that Trump is covering it up because he's part of the system. So some people might come and say, well, if Trump's name is on the list, then why wouldn't Democrats just release the list to expose Trump? And then they would answer, because the Democrats are on the list as well. Right? So they're saying you're all corrupted. You're all corrupted. You're all you're all on the list. So we need to basically. This is why now there people are saying that the only way to find out who's actually for America is to find people who stand up to Israel, like Mamdani. So this narrative fits into older anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that Israel controls the U.S., that Jews manipulate global events, that American leaders are puppets of a foreign state. People again right now, the main people are Tucker Carlson and this new guy that I'm watching, Owen Schroyer. Is that yeah? I'm watching some videos of him, and then Alex Jones, of course. Candace Owens, I haven't watched for a while, but I'm assuming that she would basically be saying the same thing. But these three, I know they are right now spreading this. Tucker Carlson, Owen Schroyer, and Alex Jones. Basically, they're openly pushing or basic the idea. I mean, Tucker Carlson. There's so many videos of him that I could show with you guys, but that is basically pushing that Epstein is like he's openly saying it. Epstein is basically he's suggesting that Epstein is been sent. He was working for Israel to do all of this. So again, Israel is being blamed for everything again. So we had 9/11, we have the JFK assassination, Epstein crimes, controlling Congress through APAC, and then finding different ways to get United States involved with wars. And again, this narrative is completely upside down, right? The idea of Israel dragging United States into wars that are not in the best interest of Americans, and this is why Israel is costly to America, is so the polar opposite of what's happening. Because if you actually know what's happening, if you actually follow events, what's happening is the opposite. America is not fighting many more wars that they would have to if Israel was not there to fight those wars for them. This is why America has been supporting Israel for this many years. It just makes so much sense. This is not about religion. This is not about APAC. This is not about blackmail. Like this, like we're talking so much money that this much money does not get moved around for these stupid conspiracy theory reasons. When you say this level of money being moved around, it I mean, it's because it makes sense. Like people who think that this much money could be moved around over like some conspiracy theories like this, their understanding of global politics and world trade and economics is very like s- the, like few men in a dark rooms smoking cigars making decisions. Like money, the amount of money that is being moved around is not being done by people. It's being moved around. This level of money only gets moved around by systems, not by individuals, right? And systems only manage to move this much money around only when there is so much, like it has to make political and economic sense, or else it wouldn't happen, right? And the reason why it makes so much sense for business, for trade, for global economics, for America, is because America is outsourcing a lot of the wars against people who are destabilizing global trade to people who are already there, instead of just being everywhere all at the same time. So Israel is fighting the wars, like every single bullet that a IDF soldier is shooting is a bullet that an American soldier would have to shoot in their stead, and they're not, and it obviously makes more economic sense, instead of taking Americans and putting them all, like basically having them fighting wars in the Middle East. It makes sense to just support your allies over there, people who have common interests with you. It just makes it saves money, it saves lives, and it's just more effective. If you have a powerful ally there that is basically has shares enemies with you, and basically is also the enemies of that country are also the people who are destabilizing maritime trade and global stability, it obviously makes sense to just support them. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Sketch therapy is saying APAC is like basically tiny to compared to the lobbying, and also APAC is not even a lobby of Israel. APAC is a lobby of American Jews who like the relationship America has with Israel. But all these other countries have lobbies in America influencing American politics, and they're so much bigger, and people don't talk about them. I mean, go look at the Muslim lobby, for example. Okay, so now why am I saying this is actually not bad for Israel? This is actually going to help Israel. So the MAGA base is splintering. And again, guys, not all MAGA. There's so many people in MAGA who love Israel, who are like horrified to see this. So there's also that. I've seen that. So again, I'm not generalizing. Again, I'm talking about the isolationist and anti-Israeli part of MAGA. So one side is still pro-Trump and pro-Israel. Okay, so but outside of MAGA, the right-leaning people who are more pro-Israel and pro-Trump, they usually like they're different they're neoconservatives, they're Christian Zionists, and they're also just old-time traditional Republicans who are just more practical about things, right? But the other side, which is really angry right now, is basically the isolationist, anti-foreign involvement, and increasingly anti-Semitic part. Some of them are MAGA, some of them are not MAGA, but they are part of the right. And again, not that the left has its own anti-Semitic problems as well, but this is growing. This is growing, and Trump cannot please both of them. So this is how this is working for us, because Trump, when people get pissed, so Trump at the beginning, when the MAGA, some people in MAGA were taking positions against Trump, Trump tried to appease them. It was trying to basically work with them, right? So when Trump bombed Fordo and Natanz in Iran, when Trump saw that the MAGA was turning on him, some people in MAGA were turning on him, he forced a ceasefire on Netanyahu to show his base that, look, what I did is actually bringing peace. So I'm not bringing war. I'm not bringing war. I'm bringing peace. I'm a peacemaker, right? And but this is getting too much. This is getting on Trump's nerves, and this is going to potentially push Trump into the neocon side, especially because the neocons are now working, the neocons and the evangelical Christians are now working overtime praising Trump, which Trump loves, for his actions in Iran, and also, more importantly, right now in Ukraine, which the isolationist MAGA hates. Trump is now completely going on Zelensky's side, very aggressively supporting Zelensky, to the point that not even the Democrats would even dream of, because he's now, there's a there's a leak from his talk with Zelensky asking him if he could actually bomb Moscow. Trump is talking to Zelensky, wondering if, like, hey, can you bomb Moscow? What about St. Petersburg? Like, can you do that? Right? Which is what? Right? And he's now opening the door to selling the type of weapons to Ukraine that are not defense, you know? So, yeah, no, he's now fully on Zelensky's side, and he's now supporting Zelensky, the Ukraine, in a way that was a red line for the Democrats. Like, he's basically uh, supporting Zelensky more than the Democrats. So the neocons are like praising Trump left and right. They're like, "Oh my God, you're God's chosen person. Like, obviously, this is why God saved you." And also, it also helps the evangelical Christian supporters of Israel that Trump has become more religious ever since that the bullet went through his ear. He had these ideas that maybe God has chosen to save him for a reason, and the Christian evangelicals are playing into that, and he seems to like it, because when Huckabee posted that, he shared it. So think about the combination of what's happening. The MAGA is turning on him, thinking that he had sex with a minor. His name is on a list, and now that's why he's being controlled by Israel, and he's corrupted. He's as corrupt as the rest of them. And he's asking them. He basically asked them on his Truth uh, media, Truth Social post, to just let it go, and they're not letting it go. And Trump doesn't like that. But the good thing is for Trump is like, well, I have these new friends. So these people hate me, but the people that I used to hate, the neocons that I used to campaign against, they seem to be now, you know, I could just replace you guys with these guys. Right. If you guys are turning on me, because Trump doesn't like it. When people attack Trump like this, he gets annoyed and he doubles down on his position. And given that he could just replace MAGA with the neocons. So he's like, what, and that's good for us because that might, the neocons, they support Ukraine, but they also very aggressively support Israel. So Trump can't please both of them because these two groups are completely, what they want is completely different. So what is he likely going to do? He's going to go win. He's going to win back. I mean, he already has, but he's going to continue try to win back the mainstream conservatives. If the people who are not playing around with this Epstein conspiracy theory stuff, right? And he's going to double down on his loyalty to Israel because that's what those people like to hear. So he's going to support military action by Netanyahu and Zelensky and possibly give the green light for Israel to strike the Islamic Republic and finish the job if needed. He's not the, when Trump, right after bombing Fordo, he came out and said that, hey, maybe regime change is not a bad idea in Iran. And then the MAGA crowd was really angry. And then he came out to like, actually, no, regime change is a bad idea. So now that the MAGA is being pushed aside, maybe the isolationist part of MAGA is going to be pushed aside completely. Maybe he's going to flirt around with the idea of regime change in Iran again. And again, we already got a signal that he might be moving in that direction, because when they were asking him about Israel attacking the Islamic Republic again, Trump didn't push back against that. He said that, yeah, that might happen. Obviously, we would prefer a diplomatic solution, but not that might happen as well, right? So he didn't say anything negative about Israel going for a second round of attack, which was a huge positive signal for our side. Again, if you're American, if you're like, hey, we don't want America to enter any war, again, please understand that what we here on this channel want to see is not America entering into a war with the Islamic Republic. We just want America to allow Israel to finish the job. So if you're saying I'm American, we shouldn't be involved in the Middle East. Yeah, okay. Just let your ally do their thing. They're very good at it, okay? Your ally Israel, they're very good at what they do. All we're asking is for a green light. That's all we're asking, okay? We're not asking for American involvement. Okay. So, and this is why the Islamic Republic should be very worried. The Israeli government has already hinted at taking action against the Islamic Republic again, so for a second round. And actually, Netanyahu said that we could go for a second and a third round. That's what Netanyahu said. And yeah, so, and the only reason why the first round stopped was because Trump really pushed Netanyahu to stop that. Oh, one thing that, by the way, tomorrow's stream we're going to be talking about what just happened in Syria, because Israel just attacked Syria, just attacked Jolani's soldiers, and that's going to be relevant to what we're talking about today. So yeah, I'm sure the Israelis in the chat, they're following that story, right? So that's a big news that just happened a few hours ago. So we're going to be covering what happened tomorrow in our live stream. But one thing that we have to be careful, we have to pay attention to, is that whether or not, because Trump really wants Syria to become stable, right? And Trump really wants to support Jolani. So we have to see if Israel attacking Syria is going to piss off Trump, because this is a very important time not to piss off Trump, especially right now with this whole Epstein situation and also with the bombing of Fordo. We're getting Trump on more and more on Israel's side, So this could be something that could piss off Trump. But so far, it seems that Marco Rubio hinted that they came in, that this was a misunderstanding, and they're going to bring ceasefire. It's weird because they announced a ceasefire, and there's still things exploding in Syria. Anyways, we're going to be talking about tomorrow, but this is going to be the whole situation between Israel and Syria right now. Is we have it is connected to uh, how the MAGA movement and Trump, and how, because if I was an isolationist MAGA against Israel, this is what I would say. I would like, here we go again. Our president tried to bring peace to Syria, and Israel is always there to ruin it. Israel cannot. This is what this again. I follow these guys, so I know what they say. Israel cannot tolerate peace. Even when America tries its best to bring peace in the region, Israel has to come and ruin it. And because Israel always wants chaos, that's what they would say. Anyways, so that was my explanation of all of this. Let me know if you guys learned something today. I think I did a good job in basically summarizing all of this. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying Sam's saying they have no idea what Syria is. Let me see. Sketch Therapy is saying. By the way, guys, if you guys want to do any super chats, I'll also respond to super chats. Sketch Therapy is saying, I just looked at the number. APAC spends 7 million. Qatar spends 29 billion. Wow. China spends $29 billion in NGOs. Wow. Exactly. Yeah, it's so stupid to cry about APAC, especially because these are American citizens. APAC is made out of American citizens. So 0.7 billion. Okay. That's a good point. I'm going to use that point. Oh, BT is saying, I learned that I just love Armin and he's the best. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, okay. So you meant 0.7 billion. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And again, honestly, my criticism for Israel is that why don't you have a powerful lobby? Like people are saying, like, oh, APAC, like it makes sense for Israel. Like American politics is so influential. I mean, every country has a lobby in every other country that matters. I mean, this is legal, and everybody does it for their self interest. And Israel's survival is very much connected to United States support. So if anything, like people are saying, like, oh, APAC, APAC, APAC. Like I'm gonna say, like, why is it so freaking small? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, why is everybody? Why are all these other countries who their existence doesn't depend on, like Israel is the only country in the world that is this many people around the world want to annihilate the country, not the regime, the country as a whole. So it's very important for Israel to do everything it can to survive, including lobbying when it's needed. So why are they? Everybody is saying, like, oh, they have such a powerful lobby. I'm like, no, they don't, and they should. They should have a powerful lobby. Yeah, sketch therapy. You're right to say. Most nations lobby through NGO and make the uh, FARA. I think that's what you have to register to as a foreign country. Okay, registered things seem minimal. Israel is bad at marketing. Yeah, Israel. It's interesting because Israel is good at so many things, but bad at marketing and media. The very thing that the conspiracy theories suggest that they're the best at. Like Israel is good at entrepreneurship, science, technology, military, um, but then they're not very good at that at PR, marketing, and media. And but the conspiracy theories suggest that they control all the stories, all the media is controlled by Israel. That's actually the part that they need to improve on. So let me see. Prince is saying Israel needs to stop arming Baku regime. Yeah, I mean, I as an Iranian who doesn't want to see any cessationist movements in the west get powerful, I could see, I could relate to that. At the same time, Azerbaijan is the only country with the only um Muslim country that is very pro-Israel for some reason. Yeah, Azerbaijan is the only Muslim, isn't it? Like, do we have any other Muslim country that is this pro-Israel? Yeah, Azerbaijan is a Muslim country that is very pro-Israel. Do we have another, like the government, not just the people? Like, if you want to talk about the people, well, Iran is very pro-Israel, but Azerbaijan is a country where the people and the government is pro-Israel, even though it's Muslim. And that's the only one, isn't it? We have no other example. Yeah, I'm not defending Azerbaijan. Somebody saying Azerbaijan is killing Christians in Armenia. Yeah, but so you could, I don't know what you, but Azerbaijan has a very close ties to Israel, and Israel is supporting them. So the Kurds are not going to be useful to anyone anymore, or their movement. Sorry, not the Kurds themselves, the Kurdish separatist movement. I mean, um, because they have been, their main movement in Turkey has been disarmed. So that's going to become, make the whole Kurdistan country dream has died. So the main separatist movement that we Iranians need to worry about is from the Azeri separatist movement from in the northwest. I think, do you guys see the disarm, like the Kurdish separatist movements in Turkestan? They all came out and disarmed. I think that was the death of the idea. That was the end of the idea of a Kurdistan, which is not bad, Heavy Gretel, because it means that no more like not less terrorist activities potentially. I mean, the idea was not going to work anyways, so it's better to just not have people die for it. But the problem, okay, so the reason why the Azeri separatist movement I think is more dangerous than the Kurdish separatist movement is because the Kurds don't have the Kurdish separatists in. So the Kurd separatists, where are the Kurds? They're in Turkey, they're in Syria, they're in Iran, and they're in Iraq. Okay, they might want a Kurdistan as a country, but there is no Kurdistan as a country right now. So there is no base. Okay. However, the Azeris in the northwest of Iran, they already have Azerbaijan as a country. They already have a country. So they don't need to create a country. The idea is to maybe get Azerbaijan to just expand its borders into Iran, which is very dangerous. This is and this is why for some Iranians, the close relationship between Israel and Azerbaijan is worrisome. Yeah. I'm against changing the borders. Keep them all as they are. Sam is saying, I don't think Azerbaijan will play this game. They already are, though. I mean, did you guys know that there was reports of Syrian officials and Israeli officials meeting in Azerbaijan, and a lot of there are a lot of reports again. I don't know how credible these are, but a lot of the Israeli um, drones or spies or operations into Iran come from Azerbaijan. Again, I don't know how legit these reports are, But we all like it's completely everybody knows that Azerbaijan and Israel have very close ties. And like it's weird. Like you see in Azerbaijan, you see Muslims holding Israeli flags and just supporting Zionism. So I don't know what you guys think about that. So Ginga is saying, are the Iranian Azeris pro-Israel like Azerbaijan? So the Iranian Azeris are Iranian first, mostly Azeri second. So the separatist movement, I think, in Azerbaijan, Iran has a small percentage support. So Iranian Azeris are, I'm assuming, I have no poll, so I don't know. But I'm assuming that they're going to be more like other Iranians than Azeris in Azerbaijan. I don't know though. I have to ask. Oh, so Nahid's saying I think Iran's supreme leader is Azeri. I think it's half Azeri. Yes. This is why when I saw the Caspian report on because Caspian report, that guy is Azeri himself. And he had an anti-Pahlavi, like he made a video regarding the 12-day war, and he had an anti-Pahlavi, and kind of like you see, like he acted like he was not pro-separatism, but he was his whole Iran video was pro, to me came off as pro-separatist and anti-Pahlavi. And I was wondering if this has anything to do with him being Azeri, because the main enemy of separatists are is Pahlavi, because Pahlavi is the way to keep Iran strong and together and to defend Iran's border integrity. Anyways, I was here for too long. I'm gonna go. So guys, make sure you like the stream. This was very. You know what? I know. I am. I shouldn't say. I shouldn't be the one who say this. Who's saying this? But I'm gonna say it anyway. This stream was very, very educational and informative to anybody who watched it. I really think this was a good stream. Don't go. Oh, Heavy Crystal saying, "Don't go stream forever." Okay, I could make AI. Should I make an AI when it becomes available? Should I make a AI version of myself that could just stream and talk about these things 24/7? Let me do. Let me know if that would be a good idea. Oh yeah, Sketch is saying, I hope I added a perspective. Yes, yes, you did. That was you're always. I always appreciate you in the chat. Oh, Ginga is saying, Armin, please stop using this video format. Ginga, would you tell me to stop using this format if I tell you that this is bringing more people to our channel? Like our channel is growing more because I'm doing it like this, and people who are not subscribed to our channel are discovering our channel because I'm doing this format. So I know you might not like it, but if I tell you that this is making our channel grow, would you still be against it? Okay, BT saying the AI could never crazy laugh the way you do, Armin. But what if it can? What if it gets to the point that it can? Then what? So Jenny saying I'm not sure how I feel about AI Armin. Okay, how about I make AI Armina. I will make a female version of myself, so you could always tell which one is me and which one is AI. Right? Yeah, so Jack is saying, Armin, vertical streams proven to bring more views. Does the algorithm favor them? By yes, by a huge margin. By a huge margin. Yeah, I'm joking, guys. I'm gonna be here, obviously. I'm not gonna bring AI. I mean, even if I bring AI, it's gonna be like a co-host that we just sometimes ask her to fact check something for us, right? So I'm going to be here. So even if we one day bring AI, I'm not going to go anywhere. Like we will basically maybe share the screen with AI, and I'm going to be doing most of the talking. But every time we're not sure about something, we'll just ask her like, "Hey, Fatima, can you fact us?" I'm going to call her Fatima, huh? We're going to make her Muslim. We're going to make an AI, and she's going to be Muslim. So we're going to give her some pro-Islamic bias to make things fun, right? And but she will have access to the internet to fact check things for us. But she will also be biased against us, so that we have some interesting fights. Yeah, we're gonna make her a Shia Chadori Muslim who goes and checks. She will hire her to check the news, but she's always gonna be, you know, sometimes upset with us. She's going to be smug. She's going to be basically make fun of us for our anti-Islamic, pro-Israeli views, and we will have to deal with her. She will do the fact checking for us, but she will also be annoying sometimes, just to keep things interesting. She will self-destruct the channel. Yeah, yeah. I've been thinking about this. We're having a Muslim AI as my co-host. Yeah, sounds fun. Oh yeah, wait. Sketch therapy saying no, no, no. Make a MAGA bot that will turn on even Trump for Americans' interest. Oh, okay. Turn even on Trump for American interest. Yeah, we could have that as well. But we need to make it like focus a little bit more on the Middle East stuff. So that's why I was thinking having Fatima. We could have Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, as our co-host, and then bring Allah. Should I have Allah as my co-host? Because this is gonna turn into an AI puppet show. Yeah, make a MAGA bot and an Islam bot and make them fight. Yes, that would be good. We could just basically, I could just be the host. Yeah, we could basically on the live stream we could come up with ideas of um on the next show. We should take like who should we put against who. We could basically make on one side Tucker Carlson, on one side Allah. Put a debate between Allah and Tucker Carlson, and we'll just watch. And I'll be the moderator. And then another day we could just random people, historic people versus fictional people, and then we'll just start a debate. We'll basically pick a random person on one side, a random entity on the other side, and then a random topic for them to debate on, and then we'll just put them against each other, and we'll just basically moderate it, moderate the whole thing. Right? I don't know. That would be fun. Oh yeah, we could do Yahweh debating Allah. That would be fun. Yahweh versus Allah. Yahweh, Jesus, and Allah debating each other. Jesus calling Yahweh, basically debating against his dad. That would be fun. Yeah, so Sketchup is saying, I'm angry at Tucker, but he's smarter than Allah. Yes, he is. I mean, if you read the Quran and then you watch Tucker Carlson's debate skills, you were like, yeah, Allah doesn't have a chance. All right. Honestly, if Yahweh is Jewish Yahweh and Jesus is Christian, then Jesus will constantly insist on Yahweh being his dad, but Yahweh is from the Jewish religion and he doesn't like, who are you? What the hell? You're not my son. And Jesus is like, you're my dad. And Yahweh is like, I don't know you. Because we're going with the Jewish Yahweh, not the Christian Yahweh. Like, why are you calling me dad? Stop calling me dad. Like, who is this? Okay. Oh, that's fun. Oh my god, we should we should do that show. Oh, poor Jesus. Okay. Yeah, because if the Christian God will recognize Jesus as his son, but not the Jewish Yahweh. Okay. Okay. I think Allah would just sit back and be like, watch them fight and like, what the hell's happening here? Like, is this a Allah would be like, is this a debate or some family drama? What did you guys invite me here to? Like, what is this? Oh, we finally got a super sticker. I was wondering if it's working today. Okay, Carl, thank you so much. Okay, we got a super sticker. All right, guys. All right, guys. I'm gonna head out. Thank you, guys. This was fun. I'll talk to you guys soon. And don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget, guys. Make sure you hit the bell notification because subscribing is not enough. If you subscribe, YouTube might not tell you that we're going live. So hit the bell notification, like the stream, and leave a comment after the show is over. That really helps. Oh, Carl, that's sweet. You gave us another super sticker. I appreciate that. Yeah, okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. That's sweet. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. I hope you enjoyed this, and till next show, I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah,